We turn now to our Matt Gutman, who joins us from Tel Aviv. Matt, tell us what you know.
Major, I think what we're seeing develop in the Middle East right now is Iran resilient, Iran able to start to take the offensive here. And that's what we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz. They have attacked, I don't know, my count, 5-6 ships over the past 24 hours or so, essentially paralyzing the Strait of Hormuz. And they've done it at very low cost. They're using missiles that are not very expensive. They're fired from up to 100 miles inland, so you can't see them. They are not easy to detect. And that is proving to be the major part of the theater of this war. What we are seeing, analysts tell us, is Iran dictating the pace of the war, the theater and location of the war, and the war's duration at this point. And there is something that I just learned a few minutes before we came on air, and I want to share it with you. I've been asking maritime tracking companies all day about what ships are getting through, how much of them or what's in those ships. Well, we do know that there are 500 tankers waiting on either side of the Strait of Hormuz, that choke point that through which about 50% or 20%, excuse me, of the world's oil flows. It's a channel, very, very narrow, 20 miles. There's a 2-mile lane in one way, a 2-mile lane in the other, a buffer in between. And Iran has bombed a ship right in the middle of that. But there are some ships getting through, and those ships are Iranian oil tankers. And we learned that just at least for the first 9 days of the month of March until March 9th, Iran has actually increased its exports of oil to about 1 million barrels a day through the straits, or an increase of about 30%. So they're actually able to sell more oil in the beginning of this war than they were in the month of February, a statistic that I found just astounding, Major.
And that is revenue, and revenue sustains a regime.
That's exactly right. And we talked about regime change for, the past 2 weeks. It is something that President Trump has called on the Iranian people to do, to rise up against the regime. Just tonight, Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel talked about regime change. He has encouraged Iran to rise up. He's also threatened the new Ayatollah, saying, I would not take insurance policy on him. But increasingly, analysts and officials in this region are saying, this regime is not going anywhere. They are entrenched, they are starting to recover, and they're starting to show the strategy that they have been working on for years. And it's not just about attacking the Gulf states. It's not just about paralyzing the Persian Gulf. And it's not just about using the Ring of Fire. It's proxies. It's all of that together to pressure the U.S. and Israel and any of its adversaries into submission. We don't know if the submission is going to happen, but certainly the squeeze is being put on the U.S. and Israel and the Gulf states in particular. Their oil depots, their fuel depots, their refineries are being hit, their ports are being targeted, their financial centers are being targeted. And honestly, the biggest question in this war is, at what point do they put so much pressure on the U.S. administration, on the White House, that President Trump needs to find an off-ramp? Because it's unclear how long the economies of this region can sustain this kind of total economic paralysis in the region. Most of the airports aren't working, financial districts aren't working, and as we know, there is zero oil passing through the Strait of Hormuz, but also 30% of the world's fertilizer goes through there, a significant proportion of the liquefied natural gas. All of that is absolutely frozen at this point, Major.
Big spike in oil prices globally today for all the reasons that Matt Gutman just summarized. Always appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much.